Polar Express, written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg. To Karen. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend. He was wrong. Late that night I did not hear sounds, though not ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked at my window and saw a tree perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes smelled lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest and looked upon my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. All aboard, the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his stretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies and nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa with thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of the town and villages flickered in the distance. The Polar Express raced out northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through the cold, dark forests, where lean wolves, roaring white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high as it seemed it would scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through the valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills. The hills, snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner standing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They were gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children. Outside we saw the children, the elves. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We passed through the crowd to an edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer was excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He walked over and pointing to me, he said, let's have this fellow here. He jumped into a sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, now, what would you like for Christmas? I knew I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted more than Christmas was not just inside Santa's giant pack. More than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked Santa how he gave me a hug, he told me to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He said, holding the bell out above, he called out, the first gift of Christmas. A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, put it in my robe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His teen torch roared and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us and then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the urban children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I could feel was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said. When the train came suddenly lurched and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sat at the other children. I stood in the doorway and waved goodbye. Then the conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. While he yelled out, he cupped his hands. He out his mouth. Merry Christmas, he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from his whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When Look, as everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside it was a silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I took the bell and made the most beautiful sound my sister and I ever heard. My mother said, "Oh, that's too bad. Yes, however, it's broken." By shaking the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as the years passed, it felt silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas could no longer hear the sweet sound. Now I've grown old, the little bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe.